What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Leadership Lean In the podcast, episode number 50-something. We are rolling along, second episode of 2022, and these are my favorite things to do. I love doing. I found a newfound love for podcasts, by the way, because I'm training for the LA Marathon, so this just gives you ample time,
right,
to listen to the potties. What?
Never again.
Edit that part out.
Yes, please.
Hey, listen.
The potties?
Love a good potty.
I love training for this marathon has given me ample time to listen to podcasts. I'm on a podcast right now. I only listen to the ones that are edited, like that guy that has to say that. I listen to this podcast. Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes host a podcast called Smartless. And it's just so endearing. They're just unbelievable. And it makes me feel like we are just, if I were to call you Wanster, you would be the Sean Hayes and you would be the Jason Bateman. And I, because I got the lower voice, I'd be the Will Arnett.
Okay.
We're gonna go with those. But I was thinking, they got their guys, we got our guys. We're hosting to the best of our ability, Leadership Lean In, where we're trying to get a little bit better in leadership.
That's it.
Should we start this episode?
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, today we are talking around the idea you are a leader. Wanster, you are a leader. Nate Dogg, you are a leader.
Yes.
You're a leader. And what is a leader? Leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. That's what leadership is. It means to have influence. And one of the things I love about leadership is it's a transfer of belief. It's taking what I believe, what I value, what I'm about, and taking it from my account and depositing it in your account. I like leadership because it's immediate. It's like, I'm a big Venmo fan because it's like you send the Venmo, it emails you that you send, and it immediately goes in the other person's account, just like Zelle. I don't like the Cash App because it feels like it gets lost in the cloud for a day or two. It's not immediate.
I'm a Cash App guy.
Oh gosh, get out of here with the Cash App.
It's the same thing.
No, it's terrible platform.
Yes.
My mother-in-law had trouble with it a couple years ago. I'd never use it again. But leadership is a transfer of belief. And I want to talk around that idea that you are a leader and that you've got to get good at a few different things to be an effective leader. Number one is you have to lead with a tender heart. This is essential because it's that old saying, you got to be tender-hearted or have a soft heart with tough skin.
Right.
So you can't be a leader and be precious. You can't be a leader and get your feelings hurt all the time.
Yep.
If you don't ever want to get criticized, don't ever do anything at all. But if you want to be a leader, you will be criticized.
Wow.
And so, and by the way, what happens, the more people you lead, the more opportunity for fallout, for messes, for problems, for backbiting, disappointments, so on and so forth. And you have to stay tender-hearted. Like what happens, I think, to a lot of leaders is they get hurt, they get creased, they get disappointed. And so they start to guard their heart and they don't let other people into their life. I kind of like what Paul the Apostle said. Paul said, I did not just share my faith with you, I shared my life with you also. Yep. And I think to be effective, you've got to put your heart on the line. And so how do you have your heart on the line? And to me, the greatest leader that ever lived is Jesus. He leads like this, hands out on a cross. People have full access to his heart.
Right.
Where he could be vulnerable and transparent. That's what leadership is. And so I think in order to be an effective leader, you have to lead with your heart and you cannot let it get calloused.
Right.
You cannot let it go sideways. You've got to keep working on it, making sure it's soft, it's pliable, it's tender. There's a sweetness. I always think it's a scary place to be if you stop crying. If you don't have tears.
Yes.
Because it means you've lost your touch with your heart.
Yes. I cried during the most, I would never expect myself to cry at a kid's movie.
Sing 2, I'm bawling my eyes out. It's like, wow, Clay Calloway, look at him, he's back. He's singing songs again.
Okay, with that idea, It's like, do you not get offended because your expectation is going like, hey, I'm working with people. My expectation is it's coming. I'm already prepared, so it doesn't hit as hard. Like, how do you stay?
Well, yeah, and I always think you have to have this self-awareness to go like, I'm doing this to other people inadvertently.
Right.
I'm hurting people's feelings.
Subconsciously, you don't even realize.
I don't even realize that a comment or lack of invitation or
right.
You never know what you also are doing to others and not doing that out of a deliberate intention.
Not malicious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, I go, maybe they're not being malicious. They're dealing with their own problems and their own personal life and pressures.
Yeah.
I think it's just trying to get to the root of what's causing this behavior, so I don't have to take it so personal.
Right. Yeah, I think that's not taking it personal.
Not taking it personal all the time. The second one, to be a great leader, I think you need to lead with major confidence. It's the whole thing about leadership. People do not follow the competent person. They follow the confident person. And what is it about confident leaders that are sure of themselves? They are totally comfortable in their own skin. I think one thing to always work on is your self-confidence.
Right.
And I'm not talking about just validating yourself. I'm just, like everyone's awkward. We're all awkward. We're all weird. We all have tics. We all have little things. We all just, you gotta, you can't compare your process to other people.
Right.
And you can't rush your process. Like, I am who I am. And the more I'm secure in that, I think I just go like, man, I walk into a room and I think people want me to be there. I've got something to contribute. I've got something to add. All of that comes from a firm self-belief.
Right.
Knowing who you are, knowing what you can't do and what you can do. It's that whole idea of like 95% of my job anybody could do. But there is a 5% that only has me, my flavor, my touch, my view, my personality, my voice, my Will Arnett voice. Thank you. There's self-validation for you. But you got to just have this self-confidence.
I love this thought.
And I think that so many people lose confidence. Think about what the last 2 years has done to people's confidence and the need to be needed. That's a real scary place. If your confidence is built off of other people's opinions of you, we are up a hill.
Right.
We are up a creek and we don't have a paddle. This is bad. I cannot let the opinion of others determine my self-worth or self-confidence. I have belief in myself because I know what I bring to the table.
Right.
I know what I have to offer.
Yep.
I know the gift that God has given me. I know my 5%. And the more I am secure in that and confident in that, I can use that to help serve and love and build other people up rather than my own ego.
Right.
Because insecurity will get you in that ego pride world.
It's just up and down.
Yeah, and it's yeah.
You can't
and
regulate that.
And that's when you start living by people's praises and dying by people's criticism. And those are the high swings.
Right.
Where the self-confidence goes, here I am today. I'm going to be best version. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Next one, number 3, is you have to lead being impressed with others. This to me goes back to self-confidence. Because if I'm self-confident and I believe in myself, I love who I am, I'm not plagued with comparison.
Wow.
Comparison just goes like, wow, they're so great and they're so much further and they're so much better. I would rather live my life impressed with others. I'm aware of my gifting and I'm really grateful for it. But man, I can celebrate other people's gifts and I can go, wow, I'm so grateful you're there. And insecurity kind of says, if their light is shining, my light is dim.
Right.
That is a scarcity mindset. That's saying there's not enough for everybody to have something. There's not enough for everybody to win. It's like it was, please forgive me, this TikTok thing. I get on there and I kind of just, and it shows you what you want. It knows you, the algorithm
so well,
and it knows that I love hip hop.
It's terrifying.
It knows that I love rap, so it sends me all these drink champs and all this Dame Dollar and Birdman, all this background hip hop stories and Busta Rhymes and Suge Knight stuff. I just of course I fell in love with rap music in 6th grade and it just never ended. So I was watching this video where a producer was saying when Eminem and Dr. Dre brought in the club from 50 Cent to this producer from a rival studio and played it for him. He said he heard the beat and he was like, oh gosh. But then his second thought was like, okay, well, let's see if they can get the lyrics and the sound. He never heard 50 before. And then when he heard the rap to it, he was like, dude, we're going to have to wait this wave out.
Jeez.
Like there's not going to be this thing's going to, and we're going to have to wait till we get a turn. And I thought to myself, that's so interesting. Sometimes we think if they're winning, I got to wait until it's my turn. I just think just be impressed with others and do your best.
That's it.
Keep creating, keep loving, keep serving, keep going. And, it's a weird world to live in to think I need my light to shine the brightest. Leadership is about actually trying to figure out how to light other people's lights.
Right.
And how to it's the whole thing. Do you want a platform or do you want to be a platform?
That's it.
If I want to be a platform, I'm hopefully creating this space where everybody shines bright and no one really cares about who gets all the attention. But I think it's a really wise, smart thing to do when you just live like, I can't believe how smart they are.
Yeah. Yep.
And look at how good they are at singing.
Yep.
And wow, they're so good with numbers, or they're so good with people, or wow, they just had that what they wrote was beautiful, or the way they parent, or wow, their marriage. Like, be inspired by people.
Right. I love this idea you said earlier, the 5%.
Yeah.
And it's like a great leader sees that 5% that only that person brings. And it's like, by the way, everyone's impressive once you get to know them.
Oh my gosh.
There's not a single one of us
We could go
don't
right
have
now.
something to bring to the table.
We could go to any country in the world. Doesn't matter what area. And it's like with that proverb. Have you ever seen someone that is a master of their craft? Have you ever someone that it's just like you marvel at watching a carpenter.
Right.
You marvel at
So
watching someone that, is good with, fill in the blank field, a writer. It's like,
Cooking.
wow,
Like,
cooking. Oh
anything.
my gosh. And live impressed with others. I think people are very unimpressed with you if you just are only impressed with yourself.
Right.
So next one, lead with self-awareness. This is a big one to me. The inability to be self-aware. Few things will sabotage you in leadership like this. Because self-awareness goes like, should I be talking still? Has this gone long? Should I go home now? Is this okay that I wear this? I'm in overalls today, and I counted the cost when I stood in front of my wife in my mirror, and I said, sweetie, you bought these for me for Christmas. The staff will genuinely roast me. I could become a meme for this. I've never fed cows or, messed with hay, but here I am, and this is like the Aspen version of overalls, not the farmer.
Yes. It says Carhartt, but
Come on, there's nothing Carhartt about my life. And so I have to have the self-awareness to go like, hey, people are going to make fun of me, and that's fine.
that's fine.
You just have to have the ability to kind of, measure your tone. How am I coming across? It's not what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying it. It's self-awareness. I think leadership is about going, probably shouldn't drive that. Maybe shouldn't wear that. Probably shouldn't post that.
Yeah.
It's not being upset. I think this is a real tension because it's not fear of other people's opinions.
Not at all.
It's serving the greater good. It's being aware of your influence, being aware of your impact, and not wanting. I think people that are very unaware of themselves, they narrow their influence and their effectiveness, who they could reach, simply by not being aware of their effectiveness or their potential.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like the old saying, the quickest way to lose influence is not being aware of influence. The more influence I'm aware of what my podcast could do. I'm aware of what my posts, I'm aware of what my actions, the ripple effect, and that just awareness allows me to govern well.
Yep. You can't steward what you don't realize
That's it. And so, how do you get better at being self-aware? I think
that's what I was going to ask.
One of the things that you start to do is you start to ask people, how did I come across there?
Wow.
Hey, babe, was I okay? Hey, what do you think, Julia? Did you feel like at dinner, was I talking too much?
That's vulnerable.
You're vulnerable. Letting people, because here's a proverb. Every way of a man is right in his own eyes. So self-awareness is not going like self-aware. Killing it.
It's the opposite.
It's actually the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Who is your sounding board? Who can speak into your leadership? Who can say, hey, I know it's not your intention, but you know, this happened and
Yeah.
this is how that came off.
Yeah.
And I think you got to have that. And otherwise, you just go round and round in circles, keep having the same mistakes.
Yeah. You said this about accountability. I don't know if it was last week, a couple weeks ago. You said, don't expect accountability for someone to come to you.
Yeah, no.
Accountability is
Same
self-awareness.
Yes.
To take yourself to
That's
someone and say,
right.
hey, can you audit me? Can you look at me?
Yep.
Where do I think I'm right and I'm way off?
That's it. And I think that just goes so far. And self-awareness, you know, you start to really appreciate those that have it. It stands out to you. You go, wow, they're very aware of their surroundings and their environment and who they're with and their audience. And that self-regulation is a learned discipline.
Yeah, I feel like it builds validation when the leader says something you're thinking about them.
Totally.
You maybe,
wow, you saw that? Because we saw that. You saw that? Wow.
You're working on that?
Yeah.
I can trust you.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. So, because the old saying is the king has no clothes, but if the king can just go, hey, guys, I have no clothes, everybody goes, oh, he sees it.
Yeah.
That helps. Number 6 is lead with an idea in your pocket and fresh energy. Again, I'm listening to this podcast, the Smartless one, you know, the 3 funny guys and always another comedian. They're just off the charts. And one of the comedians that they had on was talking about, as a comedian, you have to always have an idea in your pocket.
Right.
Something fresh. I think as a leader, you got to always have an idea in your pocket. Not just for comedians getting on stage, I got to have a little, you know,
a bit or a joke or
10 minutes. No, it's like as a preacher, I got to always have an idea in my
ready
pocket.
To go.
You know, it's just biblical, right? Be ready, Timothy, be ready in season and out.
Right.
Preach the word. Always be ready. Always have a something God, you know, speaking to me, or I just read this today, or I love this thought. I've been dwelling on this verse. Have an idea in your pocket, and that freshness. There is nothing worse than listening to somebody that you feel like, man, I've been listening to you say this for 10 years. This is 5 years ago. You can always tell when someone's learning and leaning in and gaining knowledge. And that leadership to me is just this: receive it, give it, receive it, give it. Freely have you received, freely you should give. And that constant intake, outtake. That's a biblical model for us.
Yep.
And by the way, to whom much has been given, much is required. So if you receive a lot, you got to give a lot.
Yep.
And I think that is one of the best values of a leader, is to always be ready with maxims and axioms and quotes and thoughts. And, you know, Zig Ziglar and Ken Blanchard and Patrick Lencioni. And, you know, I love John Gordon said this. And, but, Ed Millett said this. And, you know, I love Louis Howe, or, you know, whoever. Just,
right.
I'm learning, I'm gaining. I would listen to this, and I saw this, and I'm reading this book, and John Maxwell, and blah, blah. Just always gaining. So you got a fresh idea in your pocket. I just read an article. I just saw this post. I just listened to this thing, and that is the constant pursuit of learning.
Right.
But the result of that is I got something fresh.
Yeah, and I feel like that comes from a place of humility. A prideful person will never go like, I need to learn more.
Yeah.
You know. And it's like, I have to check myself. Do I feel like the leadership guru? No, not at all.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel like I actually don't know anything.
And that goes back to your self-confidence, being secure enough to ask questions and want to learn and be impressed with others.
For where I'm going, I've got to dive in.
It's the only thing that should alarm us is we should be alarmed by how little we know. We should be shocked. I cannot believe what I don't know.
I get more concerned for the person that says, I know it all.
Yeah. I've figured it out. I know it.
Yeah.
I've got this down. I see it. It's like, guys, the older I get, I know nothing.
Yeah,
I know what kind of coffee I like. That's about it. I know I'm never going to fast 21 days of coffee, no coffee again, ever. That's what I know.
Thank you.
That's about my conclusion is I'm going to stay on coffee, and my wife is right. And I was wrong. I don't even know what we're talking about now. She was right and I was wrong, whatever the subject was. Last one, number 7, is I think you need to lead with wise behavior. Behavior. So it comes from a biblical principle. It says that David behaved more wisely than everybody else. And because of it, Saul, his opponent, was afraid of him. So when you walk in wisdom, what is wisdom, by the way? Wisdom is the application of knowledge.
Right.
So leadership is not about what I know. It's about how it went from my knower to my feet.
Mm.
Because leadership's that thing. It's like inspiration is a heart thing. Knowledge is a head thing. That's information. But application is the main thing.
Yep.
If it doesn't get to my feet, it's not worth a dollar or a dime. So it's got to get to my feet. It's got to affect the way I live. And your behavior should be a great reflection of your beliefs. And I'm always trying to close the gap between my values and my behavior, or my belief and my behavior. So how do I close that gap? I practice what I preach. That's leadership.
Yeah.
And so I think
Wow.
behavior is that thing that just like, how do you gain favor? Or even a fool looks wise when he's silent. Or behavior, a soft answer turns away wrath.
Right.
This behavior, smart behavior, wise behavior, going into a room and not trying to have the honored seat, going in a room and not trying to take over the table and talk too much and be a know-it-all, behaving wisely with my finances, behaving wisely with my parenting or my marriage. And just, I think leadership's that thing is like, I don't care what you believe because your behavior is speaking louder than anything else to me. So if you're a leader and you've got influence and you're a leader and you want to transfer major belief, doesn't matter what you want to transfer if no one's attracted to it.
Right.
People need to be attracted to who you are. And so we're always kind of tweaking and getting better and going, I should probably up my ante on discretion. I should probably be more transparent, and just constant growth. And again, we're never going for perfection. Nobody could be perfect besides the Wanster. He's about as close as it gets. He's Texas. He's the pride of Texas. He's like a hook 'em Longhorn. He's just the guy.
Yeah.
You know, he's straight from the Alamo. We love this guy. But, you know, outside of Wanster, the rest of us have to work on our behavior.
Yeah.
It's like, as a parent,
good.
you got 2 boys. I've got 3 boys. And I'm constantly talking to them about their behavior and setting rules and parameters.
Yep.
And I think that my boys, they test, can I behave this way?
Constantly.
And I'm like, nope, not allowed to be rude, not allowed to talk back, not allowed to act this way in public, because I'm training them on their future, on how to behave wisely.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So I think being a leader is a privilege. It's an amazing opportunity. I have loved every season of trying to get better. I've embraced every part of let's read more, learn more, gain more. Because if you are convinced that you want to make a major transfer, then you got to first have something to give, and you got to conquer yourself. It's like the whole thing about leadership. Leadership is not learning how to lead others as much as it's about learning how to lead yourself.
Yep.
You figure out how to do that, and the rest of it takes care of itself. So we're excited about the future. Next podcast, I say we do pure stand-up.
I'm down.
We're turning this into leaderless.
Leaderless, yes. You can be Chad the rapper. I like the look. It's like kind of like Chance the rapper, but it's you instead.
Oh, Chance would wear
that's
overalls.
Exactly his
He's an over.
It's on purpose. No,
maybe
it was
that's
on
why
purpose.
Julia wanted to. Maybe she wants me to be more like Chance. I love Chance the rapper. He's like the perfect happy rapper.
Yes.
You know, the first time I heard Chance was on the Kanye track, and then this guy comes out and just, I feel like ever since then,
That album was
took over the world.
This guy's just unbelievable. He loves God. He's kind. I love the way he serves us. You talk about a leader. Chance the rapper is a leader.
Are you saying there's a chance? Leadership Lean-In featuring
Chance the rapper? I mean, if we're talking about goals 2022, I think Chance the rapper is unbelievable. And one of my favorite things about him is just the way he serves his community.
Yeah. Yes.
So generous.
Yes.
Lends his influence constantly. Resilient in that way. Major inspiration. I love that guy. And I love that he embraces the city of Chicago. It's just...
Oh, yeah. No, what I love, when I knew he was a leader was when there was that shot of Kanye screaming at him, and he just held his tongue and was like, hey, I'm going to sit down, but don't do that again. And I was like, wow. That is such a leader.
He's off the charts. And my 4-year-old's favorite song in the world is Holy. So there's that.
I feel like I've heard him sing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
We love you, Leadership Lean In. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you back in 2 weeks. See you soon.